this lane. Hate to see a Weaver either, actually. Just for that. Actually, I'll take that back. I want to see something. Give me a Snapfire or something like that for Patriots. Something that's able to kill that ward really quickly. I was gonna say Weaver because the Geminate attack, but Nether Ward
10
destroys you
seconds
with
remaining.
your need to use Shikuchi very frequently in the laning stage. So
5 seconds
I probably don't
remaining.
want to see that actually.
We have seen Patriots through the
Radiant
open
team
qualifiers. The Pangoli was something that they really like to fall back on for the law. They tried to continue that through all of DPC and also in their previous series versus UDV. But the law really struggled on the Panko. It
10
was...
seconds remaining.
I think everyone struggled. I don't think it's fair to lump everything in onto
5
one guy.
seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Poor Delul,
Do you agree?
I apologize. I will not give you the blame game. Well, that's not what
I mean, his pub name is Professional Griefer,
Radiant
so you know
team ban.
it goes both ways. I, where's the Delol CK? He looked great on it during
True.
all of those DPC series, and CK is a strong hero. I don't think we've seen it once so far though during the closed qualifiers. Maybe once actually.
I think we've seen it once. There was a Ag
An Aghanim
CK.
Center.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Who was that? I don't remember. Anyway, they played it
I
offline.
remember it winning.
5 seconds
Did it win?
remaining.
I don't think it win.
Shh, let me live in my head. Okay, that's the important.
Yeah, it was
thing.
motivated and they did not win. So yeah. There you go. I'll just secure telling you that it was not a good performance at all. Look at this. Second phase of bans. Conquer, Husker, Batrider taken care of. So all of the heroes that Mamung Dai does like to play.
Just they haven't banned the AA though. I still
10
think it's a
seconds
possibility,
remaining.
right? Like it means that the DP would have to be like a position 4,
5 seconds
which isn't
remaining.
the worst, to be honest. Like against the Pugner, it's just another one of those heroes that matches him for movement speed. You could chase down with the Spirit Siphon. You're not too worried about, excuse me, the Nether Ward with that aspect. I feel like it is certainly a possibility. Also, just natural Spirit Vessel buyers. I guess Pango does a pretty good job at that already. You don't want to pick a Necro into it, even though Necro's good against the DK, against the Pugner. Horrible. Just because it's always spamming that Death Pulse.
I'm just looking to see if it's going to be support from Kobolds because we've... Like you could always think about going Mirana or Hoodwink because we saw last series in particular of just at least the combo with the Dragonite being able to jump in. Again, you want ways to be able to burst a Death Prophet down regardless, even a Pangleer as well. So if that's something they consider for Kobolds.
They're not going to pick it. That's a good Bloodseeker game against a DP and
Radiant
a Pango.
team
Like,
pick.
seems pretty ideal in my eyes. Wouldn't you agree? Just two heroes that want to run at you?
Yep. But they go down the Jakira route. It's something that Moody does like to play. So something that we saw it recently, right? I don't remember when, but I thought we saw it recently. But
10
regardless,
seconds remaining.
Kobolds,
I
they
remember it being an off lane as opposed to a
5
support.
seconds remaining.
Maybe I'm wrong. I was wrong about the CK. I may well be wrong about this one as well.
Yeah, no, I
so
don't
how are you going to
remember
look
it.
to respond to this? Again, this feels like a lineup that Jakira's turn rate is pretty bad, and if you get on top of him, he has no escape. Same sort of thing with a Pugna. So Pango's already going to be able to do a good job at dealing with that. But just go more all in onto that aspect, right? Like do stuff that is going to catch kobolds off guard, I suppose, because these supports are food if you pick the right lineup for it. Not going to have the Grimstroke for that instant burst and catch, but it's just. I was about to say they're not going to Storm Spirit previously because they're up against a DK, but it honestly has reverted back into being a good Storm Spirit game. Even with the Pug.
Radiant team pick.
Hey. Well, so Lim has played the Pango. I think they actually did play it in one of their games yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. So they still have some flexibility with the Chaos Knight and the Pangoli along with the Death Prophet. So something has to be revealed now with this pick for Patriots, but it gives you at least the flex potential is huge, a lot of stuns, a strong laner, which I do not hate.
Yeah, it's the only thing that provides strong illusions as well. So Pugna, Life Drain, it's not even going to be able to deal with the CK illusions. You're going to need to save the Decrepify for a much more defensive aspect for your team. Because CK absolutely rips apart anyone that he's able to get in onto. And if it is going to
Dire
be Lim
team
playing that
pick.
position for Pangalia, you can kind of give him that role. Going for the Weaver still. Unless this is like a un- I don't know. I really don't like Weaver into the Pugna. So unless this is like a five Weaver and a 4 DP, that'd be kind of okay. Just because
Radiant
with
team ban.
the minus armor that you're able to get with the Swarm plus a Chaos Knight, it's a lot of kill potential. But I don't know. A little bit worried if they choose to lane the Weaver into the Pugna.
Even Weaver into Jakira doesn't sound the
10
greatest
seconds
either.
remaining.
I think the dual breath is at least a nice way to be able
5
to
seconds remaining.
kind of harass the Weaver and force him from being the bully that he quite often is. But I just see
They got
Patriots and
Dire
they
team
got plenty
ban.
of catch too, right?
Radiant
DK
team ban.
tiny destroys a Weaver, to be honest.
so what are we doing? Are they going to play the Chaos Knight 1? If they're thinking about... So they're banned Necro, so they're still a little bit indecisive, but maybe they're even going to consider... Like, it looks like a good
10
lifestealer game.
seconds
Like, a
remaining.
hell of a lifestealer game, but...
It's a really good lifestealer game, actually.
5 seconds remaining.
But then how do you do it, right? Like DP mid, Pango 4, Weaver 5, DK 1. Sorry, offlane.
Yeah, you can still put Pango mid and go...
I think that's
Go...
not bad, actually. Like a Chaos Knight into a Tiny, just with all the physical damage trading that you're able to do with a Tiny that's going to have 0 armor at level 1, or maybe 1. He might opt to go into a Wraith Band or a Ring of Protection.
And I think you want the Chaos Knight with the Weaver to play into Jakiro, because with one stun and how aggressive they can get early, like Jakiro is very slow, relies on position, and I feel like Chaos Knight and Weaver can kind of exploit that.
I really just don't want, like, Weaver against Pugna is just bad. I'm gonna say it's really bad. You can't do too much about it.
Dire
So,
team ban.
and even just banning out the Necro, like Pugna is
Radiant
fantastic
team pick.
against Necro. So I'm a little surprised. Like, look at all these heroes that constantly want to be casting spells that they're just banning, right? Bat Rider, Necro, Puck. Feels kind of
Dire team
counterintuitive.
pick.
Ember Spirit.
Ember does, but certainly not to the same extent.
Okay. Before the Ember, I was thinking they were gonna go Void Spirit.
10 seconds remaining.
The lane matchup's a bit awkward, and as the game goes on, I like
5
Ember a
seconds
bit into
remaining.
it, but it can go back and forth once you get your items. The only reason why I bring it up is because Valky really likes it, and I think Patriots do have some issues with control.
Struggling to think what kobolds are going to finish this up with. Is this going to be a mid DK into the Ember Spirit?
Oh yeah, true. They could just do that because DK's got a very good matchup versus Ember. We've seen that lately where DK wins that pretty heavily.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, what do you put in the offlane? Like a Tide, maybe? Thing that I could potentially think of. Just able to withstand a Chaos Knight.
Gives you team fight, which are kind of lacking. It's nice with the Anchor Smash versus CK. You should be able to play that lane. I think the only concern is like a Death Prophet being as a 5. That Spirit Siphon is at least a
Yeah.
good way to deal damage in the lane, whereas sometimes you will struggle.
Lena. You may
That was the
now
other option
select
that I
your
had in my head,
heroes.
just Lena if they wanted to go for it mid, just because we saw Melee versus Alina in the previous series. It's tough, right? So um I think Kobolds should be relatively okay with this. Last pick coming through here. I want to see where this Weaver's going. So it's an offlane Death Prophet, actually. So offlane DP, position 5 Weaver, and a 4 Pango. So at least you're avoiding that Pugna matchup. Actually, no, but Fearless Less playing it, right? They mix it up between him and Muddy, who plays 4 and 5, but really want to see that Pugna lane into the Weaver if Kobolds have any say in it.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so anticipating what at least you would like a Pugna DK lane and then
5 seconds
Tiny
remaining.
Jakira together in the side lanes for Kobolds.
Yep, I think that's totally fine.
Well, We'll see how this game one's able to set ourselves up. Jikroy does have a beautiful looking Chaos Knight. I'll make sure I show everyone once we get in, but of course it's on the line for these two teams. Our first elimination series, and we'll see who's able to move on and of course face the loser that we just watched in UDV in the lower bracket final. That'll be at a later date, but again, we've had all 2-0. So Danog, whoever wins this game one takes the series. So who has the better lineup to do it?
I have one more think about it. I'm gonna need to see if it's Pugner into the Weaver. That'll
Okay.
determine it, because I feel like specifically Delul going the Death Prophet as this position 3 instead of a support is good, right? Look at the heroes that he's up against. Ones that he wants to get levels for, ones that he wants to be online a little bit earlier against. The Tiny, the Dragon Knight. They might not be able to dish out the greatest damage early on, but they will have that high HP pool. So the fact that he might have those really early points into the Spirit Siphon and be a little bit tankier means that the DP has the tools to take over this game early on.
Yeah, I like Apes' lineup as well. I just, even without
Apes?
seeing Patriots, of course.
Patriots, yep.
Yes, Patriots. We do have a bit of a pause real quick, but they've got so much minus armor. All 4 heroes, 4 out of 5, and DP uses a lot of physical damage with the Exo, but the Ember can go into the Orb of Corrosion. They don't have the greatest way to deal with him. Maybe it's a Dragon Tail into Ice Path, into Tiny or Lena closing the distance, but I just feel like with what Apes have, they can get aggressive really early on. They've got strong lanes. I think they're probably a little bit more of an experienced team as well, even though they didn't look good in Division 2. I think they can just...
putting them in the dirt, are you? They just didn't look good.
Well, am I
Not
wrong?
mincing your words at all.
Well,
Yeah.
hang on, I could say it a lot worse. Hang on a second. I could say it much worse than
All
they
right, go
didn't
on.
look good.
Go on.
I'm not
Do
going to
it.
do that. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah, no, I like what they have. I think they're able to group up early with the Exo. They have a lineup that wants to be active, whereas the Lena Tiny, yes, they can come online early, but you're probably going to be waiting for, like, BKB doesn't really do much for Lena Tiny this game. They're still going to run you down, and that's a big concern, where often their heroes, especially Lena, wants to stand her ground off the back of this, but I don't think Radiant will give her that opportunity.
I think Lena absolutely needs the BKB early on this game, right? Because you have so much potential of being chain stunned. The Rolling Thunder plus the CK. If he gets that Reality Rift onto you, you're just toast, right? So I feel like it's very important that he's not caught out of position with the Searing Chains, for example. Very important for him to have it. I think they're going to be lacking in damage if Tiny doesn't go a little bit more of that damage-oriented style, right? Because Fortune Soul, he's the one that's going to be needing to make a lot of these jumps happen on the Patriot side. So Valky, BKB, Fortune Soul, Echo Saber, Shadowblade is definitely the way they want to see it happen. And they actually saw the Observer Ward go down, but he's going to be able to scout that one out as well and get the D Ward off. They'll even try and deny their own one. The big thing for mine, for Patriots in particular, is, to me, it seems very obvious
30
what Lim
seconds
needs
to
to do
battle.
every single, like, 5-on-5 team fight, right? He needs to be Rolling Thunder, and then he needs to get in on top of the Lena if she doesn't have the BKB, but more importantly, just disable the Pugna. Make it so that he can't just free cast and do whatever the hell he wants on the backlines and heal up the rest of his team. But they need to actually be cohesive as a team to do that, right? Because, again, we just saw what happens if you're a Pango into a Lena and a Tiny. If they have those BKBs or if they have that attack range, you're just going to get melted. So the rest of his team actually needs to be connecting through with him to make sure that that backline dive is not just going to be exploited by KOBOLDS.
We do see it's going to be a 2-for-2 though, between both the lads, and we also get to see that it will be the Weaver laning into the Pugna. So does this change anything for you?
Hate it. Let's go, KOBOLDS.
All right. We have a split decision. Okay.
Oh, wow. UK even TP down. Like, he was very slowly running. And just with this Netherward being up, I mean, not going to get great value, to be honest, considering it's got, what, 7 seconds left. Shikuchi's up in another 2, so UK can just look to wait it out rather than spend the mana and get damaged as well. But once you get more levels into the Netherward, you're not lacking in tower push, right? You've got a Tiny, you've got a Lina, you've got a Jakira, you've got a Dragon Knight. So really want to be maxing out that Nether Blast if your tower push is kind of lacking, even as that position 4 or 5. This game, he wants Netherward and he wants Decrepify. You might get 1 point in the Nether Blast just because it's a pretty decent value point for doing things like securing range creeps, but yeah, I think Decrep, Netherward, definitely the way to go.
I'm also watching Jikoro very much struggle with being able to last hit, so at least get someone on the Netherward, so that's a little bit of extra. He's really struggled. Okay, this makes me feel like he's not too comfortable on the Chaos Knight, because it's quite a swing, but you've got 73 damage and then plus the Quelling Blade, or 81 with the 8.
Not getting the free CS, you mean?
Well, honestly, it should be. Like, DK's gone 4 gauntlets. Once he gets braces, it's going to be a bit difficult. But you should be blasting very easily at the early stage.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's okay.
It's no Razor. Razor's the one that always puts me off.
Yeah, same with Sniper, honestly. Like, Sniper's just too fast in a way where I get kind of surprised by it. Your damage is a bit meh, but... So what about this mid matchup though with Velky's Lina against the Ember Spirit on Momang Dai? You were speaking about kind of the melee against the range is always going to be favored for the Lina, but is there anything that maybe Patriots can do to help out Momang Dai?
Not really. I mean, you pick Weaver as a lane dominator, you pick DP for a similar sort of thing, right? And really, what's a DP going to do if he makes the rotation towards that mid lane against Alina?
Oh, they might be dead down bottom. Jikoro gets a 2-second stun. And UK with the finishing blow. They're already level 3, so Patriots utilizing these early abilities to perfection.
Precious bounty.
And not really liking the fact that he went the Nether Blast at level 2, to be honest. Like, yes, it's kind of important to secure range creeps, but I mean, you've got a DK, right? He could have very easily just got 1 point in the Breathe Fire for that aspect, and it means that you don't have Decrep against a CK. Like, any CK lane is a kill lane.
Never refuse gold given.
And the other side lane, at least it's looking like a pretty okay start for Fortune Soul, although I think they're going to have a good time here for Patriots, and that's the main thing. Like an off-lane Death Prophet, you can die a couple times in the lane, but if you can get away with it, then we can see him be a big factor into the lineup of Patriots.
Yeah, I'm still of the mindset that Delul is going to have a really good game. I just thought that this side lane for KOBOLDS would go a little bit better with the Pugna laning up into this. Like, you've got all the tools to basically ensure that you're taking no damage and you're preventing the Weaver from getting a lot of harassment done.
Like, he just used 1 Spirit Siphon and it took away 500 health at least. As Jikoro just getting out of harm's way. They do not have any regen as well. UK is going straight earn. So they're trying to ferry out some resources. So Jikoro is going to be in a bit of an awkward scenario, especially with the creep equilibrium.
They got some coming out as well. The Tango and the Salve coming through now, but
Top
yeah, you
lane,
just can't
Moody. He's going to be in trouble. Delul and Lim should have an easy chase down. It was a nice attempt from Fortune Soul, but he will not be on point with the toss away. So Patriots land their second kill.
In trouble here on Jikroy, actually, but this is another one of those times where if you had the Decrepify, that would have been the slow that you needed to be able to catch up onto him and get yourself set up for those right clicks there. The creeps actually killed the courier that was coming out to Fulisla. Unfortunate.
With all the side lane action we've had, mid lane it was Velky that was actually forced back to base first, so Momang Dai is having a pretty good start. Unfortunately, he's going to lose his small stack at the creep wave next to him, the creep camp.
He loves that.
Top lane, Lim is actually going to end up going down. Fortune Soul, 1 swing of the tree. It's enough to get their first kill of the game, so beautifully done. Fortune Soul hits the board.
4 points into the
gonna go on
Netherworld.
bottom,
It's
yeah.
the right choice, but look at what happens though when you don't have Decrepify. They're just able to take off so much of Skadi's HP. At least he's got the couple of braces there at just the 1 point in the Dragon's Blood for now. 2 points Breathe Fire is a little odd, especially considering you've gone the Nether Blast or that, again, range creep securing and harassing from afar. But it's not going horribly for them so far.
Well, this is pretty big, though, that you secure the haste room from Among Dire. You should be able to make a rotation with this, probably hoping...
Radiant's middle
I think he'll
tower
wait for
is
level
under
7 just so he
attack.
can get max out slide and then maybe think about going somewhere.
A little something extra for the effort.
Scardy now, though, realizes that he needs to be a little bit beefier, put the second point into the Dragon Blood.
Middle lane is missing.
Pugna getting closer towards those Tranquil Boots. Obviously very important to get those online, just to enable your healing potential in the lane. Straight on back, and it does make it hard. Like, once he hits level 4, I feel like this lane should be a lot easier for Kobolds.
Oh, they're going to go.
But not if you're dying.
Jikri
especially
needs to
straight
get
after a TP.
lucky. It's 3 points in the Chaos Strike, so a lot of life still coming back to the Chaos Knight, and a lot of burst as well when he can find the crits.
What happens, though?
Radiant's middle tower
No
is
decrep
under
against this
attack.
very physical damage lineup.
Dire's top tower
And top
is
lane,
under
Dillo.
attack.
He's got level 6 already, so he's going to pop a very early Exorcism. And they've got
Dire's
Moody
Done.
structures are fortified.
fresh on a platter as well, so another kill onto the support.
Dire's top tower
Oh, they
is under
glyph
attack.
too. You hate to see it.
Not getting great value out of it. You're very easily able to transition this into what should be the first tower of the game coming through for Patriots. Just a quarter of the duration left on the Exo, but the damage is just too insane right now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oddly enough, not hugging the
Dire's
tower.
top tower is
The amount of
under
extra
attack.
damage you're able to do
Dire's
is
top tower
pretty
has
significant if
fallen.
you're riding on top of it, and I thought they might, considering Jakira's there. Not there, rather,
To
but,
future law.
well, don't even need to.
Valky is going to be pretty cautious how he plays this. I'm like, oh no. Still Valky, I think he's going to end up dropping. Tries to chuck out the Laguna Blade, but it doesn't matter. And Mamang Dai did a really good job. What he was doing prior to the room was just spamming up the slight with that Orb of Corrosion picked up. 'Cause he knew the Lina was looking to try and take a fight and get rid of the power room. But because Mamang Dai was just slowly poking him down with his slights, you know, slight after slight after slight, meant that the Lina, like, if you make one mistake, then you will be killed off.
That always gives you a slight advantage.
Bottom lane, Jikroy. Philizlar is in quite an interesting position.
What the hell are you doing there, Pugna? That is not where you want to be. I suppose it's making subspace for Scardy to be able to get into his next item. He's got the Soul Ring, so very self-sustainable now. What, even more points in the Breathe Fire. I guess it's important just to have that lower cooldown against the Phantasm that's set to come out, but I don't know. I'm
Oh,
not feeling super confident about it.
what do you think about the tiny Midas? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Like, Tiny does suffer from really slow attack speed, and they've got nothing to buff him up. And Midas is one of the best attack speed for gold that you spend items in the entire game. So I get it in that aspect, but I really feel like you just want to be getting items that enable you to actually do damage early on, because that's what's going to counterbalance the strength of this Death Prophet.
My opinion about the Midas is that... Should we hold that thought? Sky bottom? I just... No, he'll be okay. Philizlar's going to step in. Woody as well with the threat of this. But they do have Jikroy nearby with full health and a little bit of mana to play with. But the more important thing is they've kind of pushed back the Dragonite from this tower.
But now, he's probably going to get at least one more right click in onto it. That damage over time ticking. Philizlar has to be careful with his positioning.
So, yeah.
The 1 point, not great at pushing his lane out either, right? It just feels like a bit of a mana sink if you're wasting it. It's only 85 mana, but it does stack up. It's only doing 50 damage to the tower.
You take a look. It just the fact that Ember's the position he is in the net worth in this losing matchup is big props to Among Dire. He's got a catapult wave along with Delor making his rotation, so this tower should end up going down. I'm a bit concerned on how Kobolds can defend the area.
Be ensnared in fire.
Another one's going to help, for sure, but It's got the 1 point in the decrypt. I could shut up about that, but still doesn't feel great until you hit that level 6 timing. Valky definitely needs it. He's got the boots of travel, but make sure that you're having that sustained impact. He's got the boots of, the tranquil boots.
Radiant's top tower
Looking to
is
try and
under
put a little bit of
attack.
pressure onto the bottom side here with Woody there. Just the 1 point in the liquid fire. You've got the siege creep, so it's like they want to try and at least take a tower.
Radiant's
They'll
bottom
get it.
tower is under attack.
Nice! Oh,
Oh,
Radiant's
yes.
bottom tower has been denied.
Now Fortune Soul will be okay. It's actually going to be bottom lane where UK and Mamung Dai will pair together to try and bring down Feelers Law. They're going to be pretty speedy about this though. They don't have a tier 1 for extra rotations, and Mamung Dai is completely out of mana and soon to be out of health as well, as a tree throw from Fortune Soul will cut away the life of the Ember Spirit. So beautifully done. KOBOLDS will trade a 1-for-1, and UK is going to be forced to time lapse out.
Very glad that he ran well away from the Netherworld there before popping it. Otherwise, that would have been an absolute disaster. Ended up using the Urn of Shadows onto himself with the dual breath on him. So, really get too much value out of that one. Just see the difference, right? Like, what... They didn't have the capability to kill the Pugna. If he just stayed in that lane for a tiny bit longer and got his level 6, he was like 1 creep kill away from it. But instead, went down to the bottom side, really wanted that tower. It gets denied, and he's not able to use the life drain to be able to sustain himself.
We do see though Tiny's loving life after the Midas being completed. He's found a couple of kills. He's going to have another use of the Midas up shortly, and this is going to be a very good Echo Saber timing afterwards as well.
Not a big fan of using the Midas on the melee creep instead of the range, but
Middle tower is under
you
attack.
take the good and the bad.
You also take a little bit of farm away from your support. Of course, they do not need any gold. Poor Moody's just with the... Well, he doesn't even have Tranquils. Looks like one's coming out for him. So the good old Jakiro's suffering. But the main thing is your Dragonite not as much. He has a blink now, so it might be KOBOLDS that are looking to get aggressive. Maybe a DK setup on a side lane, and then Lena can TP him with the boots of travel.
Feels like they've been pretty effective at playing around this exorcism timing every single chance that they've got, though, on Patriots. Gone for a really early BKB on Delul. Really like it. Just preventing a lot of that early damage potential. And it just means that you can consistently run on top of a Tiny. Like, what's he going to do at this stage with a Midas and an Echo Saber if you've got Spirit Siphon against his 2000 HP?
Nice scan. UK's still got to try and go in the area, see if they can pop a smoke, and they do just that. They also see Scotty, so they've got confirmation of the blink.
Out of smoke as well.
Oh no, what? The neutral creep ensnaring DK. Now Delur's going to charge in the backline, but the Death Prophet might be in trouble trying to enter the higher ground, but Delur's taking way too much damage before Lim gets the chain control, but the turnaround is still there, or is it though? Radiant, they're so hesitant at committing even though KOBOLDS are so goddamn weak. Mamung Dai tries to step in, but he's not going to play aggressively with the remnants, and Phyllis doesn't even die.
You got to make sure you're getting on top of that Pugna. I mean, the Rolling Thunder didn't have the greatest impact and allowed him to free cast, allowed them to get all of that damage in onto the DP, and that's the downside. You just... Imagine if she has a BKB during all of that, right? There is no way she goes down, and that's probably like at least a 4-man wipe that you get on your end on Patriots.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Going for much more of the farming style of build here as Fortune Soul. Already has the Aghanim Shard queued up, and he's going to hit it basically dead on the 15-minute mark, so some good little synergies there.
Level 12 too, so he's still hasn't gotten the most value out of the Midas, as we see Jikroy very similar level-wise, and though gold it's a bit of a concern, but Jikroy, I mean, often using these phantasms just to farm across the map. They want to fight though on KOBOLDS. Smoke instantly popping. UK once again, really solid position. And he's going to get away. Maybe Scotty's blinks up shortly. Radiant, they are in the neighborhood, but they don't have Exo. They're going to be reliant on Lim with this Rolling Thunder. This time they'll get rid of the life of Fearless Law. They still need to try and turn towards Lena as well, with Valky freely sieging in the backline. Has the opportunity to cut away the life of the Chaos Knight. But now Delul wants to enter the fight. Then multiple Spirit Siphon charges. All the percent damage is seeming to be too much for Fortune Soul to handle. And that is a gigantic kill. The top of their net worth now taken care of. UK Among Die swinging over to the front of the tier 3 tower. They'll get rid of the Dragon Knight along with them. So Patriots, all this without the exorcism. Beautiful fight from them.
A gigantic team fight and a massive Pidus as well coming through from the Tiny. So, yeah, hate to see it. Just, it feels a little odd that they feel like they could just walk up on forward when it's probably warded in the area, you know, for the high ground. They also had this ward to the right-hand side, so would have revealed them anyway, but Pugna cannot be the first one that goes forward into a lot of these engagements. It just feels like you're making the team fight much harder than it needs to be for yourself, because we've seen, again, the Pangolier is a position 4. He doesn't have a ton of farm.
He might die.
He'll die very quickly like that. And it just by playing on the backlines, it forces the Pangolier to search for you, and it just gives you so many more options with a Dragon Knight and a Lina, and eventually the Tiny, once he gets that BKB, for example, to be able to take you out. But instead, just giving your life away at the very start of a team fight on the Pugner is not what you draft this hero for.
I think the Patriots need to keep playing aggressive pre-BKBs, which... because Valky's very vulnerable to a Rolling Thunder atop him, or the Ember, or even the Chaos Knight for that matter. Like, you are literally just trying to run the Pugna down and the Lina down so they can't spellcast, but if they can get the BKBs on Kobolds, and that's when I'd be a little bit more comfortable, I suppose, with how they can play this game.
Delul's trying to keep this top lane pushed in so that they can force a TP back there, because he's just picked up his BKB. He's level 12 as well, so any kind of team fight that they take is going to be overwhelmingly in favor of Patriots, especially if you're able to do a 5v4. They might just Rosh instead, with a lot of these lanes pushed in favor of them. Bot lane's kind of pushed, though.
Yeah, this should be pretty obvious, although Radiant's going to start seeing them make their way over with this Cliff Ward if they do that on Kobolds, but Valky's back to hitting.
Didn't even... Okay, I was about to say they didn't even get them to use the glyph out of this, but they finally do. Although it doesn't feel the greatest on this Dragon Knight. He's got half duration left on the Elder Dragon form. Let's see if they can maybe catch someone out at the start here. What's their vision look like? They don't quite see the fact that this is Observer Ward, and they get the Pango. It's a nice start.
Yeah, an okay start. I mean, easily pick off on the Pango, but you know the Exo's on cooldown, so you should be able... Well, you don't know. You didn't have information, but you're probably more than likely expecting that to be used for Roshan, so they will also get a tier 1 tower along with it. But there we go. Valky has BKB, and I think they can definitely fight into this Aegis advantage.
Maybe not with the Elder Dragon form on cooldown. That's the only thing that I would be a bit more hesitant about. You might want to wait until Fearlessla has the Aether Lens as well for himself. But you just see, like, he felt so free to just walk in and use the Nether Blast to help take that tower because he didn't have to deal with a Pangolier. Pango's really the only one that's going to be able to get onto him and burst him down, right? You might be able to get a Searing Chains on the Ember Spirit, but that gives you time to be able to use the Decrepify. Even the Chaos Knight using the Reality Rift onto you. You can still decrep. It's very fast cast time.
So you die with this triple smoke to top. No one will be home. Delul once again... mentioned before that he was trying to shove the lane out and force reactions and maybe take a fight with the numbers advantage, but he's going to continue to do that. But Patriots, they're just looking to farm with this Aegis at the moment. Is there a big item they're waiting for, or is it just maybe cooldown?
On Patriots? I mean, the S&Y is kind of important. I feel like DP's got everything that she could possibly need to be able to fight. Maybe BKB on Mamang Daya. The Blink Dagger on Pango seems really damn important, so I'd be looking to prioritize his farm the next little bit as they find Valky, try and force a BKB usage out of him here.
They might be able to. It's a lot of poke from afar. So there's the BKB usage from Valky. Maybe now they can take a fight, but Fortune Soul reveals his own Blink straight onto UK. It's a great combo with a follow-up Ice Path. Where's the rest of Radiant, though? They're a little bit too late to the party. Jikro's going to try and charge in the middle, but already Kobolds are evacuating away. Unfortunately,
though, do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that he can, but Jikro can also do the same. An easy drag back onto Moody. They do have the tier 2 tower. I should say the creeps next to the tier 2 tower, so maybe they look to do a little bit of damage here.
They got the glyph. I mean, with Exo, though, I try and force a glyph earlier on, just while the creep wave isn't quite there.
Dire's top
See,
tower
all right, they
is
wait
under
enough time
attack.
so that it's going to hit the siege creep when they
Dire's
use it.
structures
Nicely
are
done by
fortified.
KOBOLDS. Using
Radiant
the
structures
aggressive
are
glyph, but it
fortified.
should still be enough for them to take out the siege creep, or maybe not actually. Jikroy tanking up a lot of those right clicks.
They're coming.
TPs, they'll be too late though.
Dire's top
Exo.
tower is fortified.
And they got about a third duration left, and Velky's BKB was used prior. They're so split.
zoned him completely.
Fortune Soul to the west side. They need to be able to protect the Tiny. That's the key component. He's going to try and stand his ground, particularly with the armlet toggles. Oh, he's not even dying. The Chaos Knight playing that fight incredibly well. And now Radiant, what's the call? They get a little bit more passive now after those 2 kills.
They gotta play as 5, man. It's really important for KOBOLDS to be able to do so. Like, they've been able to go a little bit greedier, get some nice farm on the Lina as well as the Tiny, but until that Tiny has BKB, I don't think he should be joining any of these team fights unless it's completely free with that Blink Dagger. It's about halfway towards it, so it's not exactly going to be the furthest time away, and it's got to wait up the next minute or so until the Phantasm's up and available again. That's about the same timing as the Aegis, so just give
Amazing
Tiny
what you'll
over
find
some of
in
these
Danog.
ancient stacks. Let him get another usage out of his Midas. He'll be level 20. He'll have the BKB for himself. Then you can absolutely look to take a team fight and probably come out on top.
Do you feel like Radiant are going to look to take a fight with the remnants of this Aegis, even though they don't have Exo?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. No Phantasm, no Exo. I don't think they have that luxury.
Dire are scanning. Invisibility.
Even just getting the Aghanim Shard on Jikroy can be very nice. You toss out the Chaos Bolt onto one of the squishier supports. It's a lot of damage that they have to deal with.
So you mentioned a lot about the Pugna kind of being a big target that needs to be brought down early and maybe just running to the Linas. But what is it for KOBOLDS? Who do they have to be aiming in these fights?
Okay, speaking of the Lina,
Your place is here.
KB.
Radiant's top tower
He's
is fortified.
TP still on cooldown. He's now going to go for it under the cover of the BKB and we'll make it out.
Does reveal the TPs towards this top side of the map. Lina has the Boots of Travel. The Ember Spirit does not, so she should be able to rejoin the rest of the team. Wisely enough, though, on the Patriots, they end up immediately running back
Scott is
towards
in
the
trouble.
mid-lane. Not caught out.
He just blinked into the lane. Valky's trying to connect, but nice TP from Scotty. And that was the smoke, and it could have been a nice window for Patriots because they knew the BKB was popped prior from the Lina, so if they forced the fight, which they'll get the kill in the end onto Moody, but yeah, definitely not the greatest. If they forced the fight with Lina BKB on cooldown, then there would have been a power position for them, but just unable to kind of get to a position where they can take that.
They got the BKB on the Tiny now. I really want him to be level 20, and I really want him to have this Echo Saber again. He disassembled it previously, so I mean, BKB is so important against the DP just for the damage potential, but she's got the Aghanim Shard as well, so you don't want to be feared around in these team fights and allow the CK to do whatever the hell he wants. It's like they will get that timing. 20. Ogreax coming out to him now. Midas used. It's go time for KOBOLDS. They need to try and make the most that they can out of this. They even got the Skadi on the Lina.
That's huge.
You could maybe go a little bit greedy and want the level 20, but it's like she's just going to go back to base, heal up, rejoin the team. You got to go. They're going to try and force it before that, though.
Scotty's a huge item to take this game, I think. Early
Ooh,
BKB
quick
from
BKB.
Delul. Nice reaction. Now all of a sudden, the Dragon Knight is in a compromised position, but still the decap proving to be a big issue off to the right side. Jikroy's going to be trouble. The combo. Oh, it's plenty of damage to get the life of the Chaos Knight. They still have to be cautious over among die, but the buyback from Scott is in with the Dragon Tail, and the follow-up stuns are there from KOBOLDS, and they're not done just yet. Delul goes down as well, and Valky. Oh, the machine gun from the Lina, the fresh Scotty. It's all they needed is KOBOLDS. They don't defend the T2 tower, but they get a huge fight victory.
Get so much more, taking out every single core that they've got. Lina also with that goes up to level 20. That additional fiery soul talent, and
Radiant's middle
this is
tower
looking pretty
is under
scary now.
attack.
The double core has come online. Went a little bit greedier early on. They'll at least force the glyph out, you would imagine, for for Patriots. Siege creep here, you can look to continue pushing
Radiant's middle
forward,
tower has fallen.
just wanting to take the tier 2 top. Great buyback,
Radiant's
Scotty though.
structures are
Clutch.
fortified.
Yeah, like you just said though, the double cores are online, and that's a big concern for me now. Because
Radiant's top tower
I
is
feel like
under
Tiny's
attack.
just going to deal with the Chaos Knight as the game goes on. You've got great armor, you've got cleave.
Radiant's
That's
top
a
tower
deep
has
rolling
fallen.
thunder from Lim. They're even dropping a ward down to try and get that last little bit of vision on Velky.
Is under
The BKB
attack.
TP out. There's going to be no answers for them. Jikroy at least does get one, but yeah, this
Thunder. I mean, it's a long Aegis respawn at least. Bot lane, it feels like they got a decent amount of control around it on Kobolds, right? They've got the outpost. Ember Spirit's probably one of the better heroes to just shove it out without too much danger of dying. Have a Remnant up on the map? I believe he does.
oh, bottom lane.
Caught him, but
Nah, it doesn't
I don't think
matter.
they'll have the damage. He's scared though.
That he
Sometimes the
is.
fear aspect is enough.
At least it stops him from pushing this area, so they can keep bottom lane shoved out. So eventually that'll be something that Patriots have to bring probably another hero down to deal with.
Didn't like the first couple of levels with what Pugna leveled up, but ever since then, he's done everything right. You know, not putting more points into the Nether Blast, it's not needed. You're just sitting on the backline, you are the definition of a defensive support.
Money to burn.
Is there... honestly, I feel like this is... it says 66% for Kobolds. I'd even give it a little bit more. I'd probably say like 74 right now. I feel like Pango does not have a game with how farm...
That's very accurate, 74. Oh.
I don't
Radiant's
know. What do you want me to
bottom
say? I
tower
reckon
has fallen.
I'm going 74. I reckon there could be a bit of a window for Patriots because it's only 4,000 net worth, but the double core's online, like you said. But I just feel like Pango will do nothing in these fights now. Lina can pop BKB, stand her ground. We literally had a perfect example of it last game. So I think Lim is just going to be a non-factor. I don't know what Weaver's really going to do pre-Ags, which is coming out shortly, but I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be... Is it coming out to him right now, or...
I don't think
He's only got
it
the one
is.
component, right?
Yeah.
Speedy
Two,
rune
rather.
of haste.
But I think you need to just be... You need to use the Rolling Thunder, you need to blink in, you need to try and force BKBs out of the Lina and the Tiny, and then you need to get the hell away.
Oh, my Magdaya, what the? Oh my god. Instant BKB, but it's not going to matter now. This is a fight that Kobolds can take. Let's catch out anyone else that hasn't retreated fast enough, but Roche is up in 25, and you will not have
Dire's
BKB on
top
Ember.
tower is under attack.
They'll know about the approximate timings, right? So they can just stick around this area. They want to make sure that they get some of this rune control back. High ground, very
They gotta
obvious.
get out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know if you can take this fight. Fortune Souls on Mangdaya. The BKB's on cooldown. Onto the right side, a quick and easy kill, getting rid of the life of the Jakiro. Ready to have very good vision nearby. They're scouting out all of Dire. Delul's gonna charge into the middle, but look at the damage! Delul tries to get away, he would just make it, but Velky continuing to chase. Velky, though, has to respect him, or maybe he doesn't. The rest of Kobolds following suit, and they are just so hesitant at committing on the Lina at this stage in the game.
And Lina, of course, had that regen rune bottle previously. They've caught out Ember Spirit again. He's got a couple of
Or maybe
remnants
not.
available.
Fortune Soul still has the toss. Long stun lock. Beautifully played from Fortune Soul, just holding the toss to the last second. And now you've got Roche to fall back on after the successful team fight.
Nicely done. They were able to get the DK up to that level 18 as well. So you've already got the slow coming through from the Skadi. Also got Skadi basically being a Skadi right now with that level 3 Elder Dragon form. And yeah, this should be pretty free for them. Now, the big question is, I'm assuming Moody's going to be the one that takes this Aghanim shard.
Has fallen to the dark.
No, not the Pugna. No, it's so bad.
Oh boy.
I mean, the cast range is nice. I would literally only take it for the cast range. He had it queued up for
Wait,
himself
Jikro's
previously.
got to get out. Jikro has to get out. BKB on cooldown for another 5. Maybe he's going to try and fight, but it will not matter. Well, it's giving him time though, but TP is still on cooldown as well, so they can easily chase down Jikro. He'll take a hero into the grave with him.
Gonna
This...
TP, though.
How do you ever get out like this? It's daytime. There's not enough trees to try and juke through. And that will give another kill. Wicked sick on Velky.
Yeah, And Filisla actually had the Aghanim Shard queued up before he got the one from Roche.
What a
I'm like,
menace.
doesn't kill the CK illusions, my man. They are strong illusions. So, not sure how effective that's going to be. Core staff, much better though. Just in case you're able to avoid things like the Rolling Thunder for not just yourself but teammates too. Make sure you can break that Spirit Siphon, which of course has the fear component. Very nice item.
Now you got 11,000 net worth lead for KOBOLDS and in prime position to be able to take game 1. You have all the outer towers claimed, so maybe just waiting for that next item until they feel comfortable with going high ground.
Gonna go. He's got a lot of gold. I think it's going the Daedalus as well.
Oh. Well, the law needs those BKBs, but now you ain't got it.
You ain't gonna have it. There's that Daedalus.
Oh boy.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
How do you take the fight if you're Patriots? It's not going to be easy. Maybe a wraparound.
Really early Phantasm use as well, and they're just going to back off. Wait for the Phantasms to be gone, and then to re-engage after that. Why not? You've got a good 30, 35 second window.
Hold map control if you're KOBOLDS. Top's really the only lane that's kind of not in their favor at the moment, so maybe Jikrois or someone else can sub that out to force one of KOBOLDS to go back to delay the ages, but they know these Phantasms expired and they're going to go like you said.
Yep, you've got the Arcane Rune as well. Valky, make sure he gets all of those Fiery Soul stacks. Switches back in the plate mail to make it even harder for the CK to take him out. Won't have the Fiery Soul stacks though for a while. No one's going to walk up into range of him, and it still
Radiant's bottom barracks
takes off
has
a quarter of
fallen.
the HP of the racks there, does Fortune Soul. With that, he tried to life drain the...
Scotty, instant use. A very early BKB usage. Jikroi's going to be okay. Keep in mind, Valky does have the ages, but look at the damage trying to chase down Lim. Doesn't get the last right click, but Fortune Soul's in the middle. This Jikro just can't stand his ground. They're on Delul as well. This is a core Death Prophet, and they are killing him off like a support. Onto the tier 4s they go.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fortune Soul, nice reactions. Maybe they can penalize Fortune Soul from diving deep, but he's been able to reset near the tier 4 towers, but maybe he's just baiting. An Ice Path clipping up multiple heroes. Mamang Dire, it's all up to the Ember Spirit to somehow turn this around, but he won't have an opportunity. Eats the LSA, swallows all the right click damage from Lina, and now back to the objectives they go. Oh, the backline, hang on, Weaver, are you okay? Oh no, geez, the drop. Patriots, they're gonna have to concede game 1 as KOBOLDS. Really nice to done with this dual core lineup.
Never in doubt. I just feel like the Patriots, unfortunately, didn't use their key early timing that they had around the Death Prophet being ridiculously strong. You know, the attempt for that smoke gank when DP was only about 500 or so gold away from picking up the BKB was a huge mistake. You know, she takes a team fight, you lose the team fight, 1 kill to 4, I believe it was, and if Death Prophet has BKB, I am nearly certain you get 4 or 5 kills on Patriots' side. So it's just one of those little mistakes that could snowball into so much more. It's meant that some of the timings were a little bit slower coming through. Again, Mamang Daya, 9, 4, and 4. Did a pretty decent job, but this Pugna was just given free reign to do whatever the hell he wanted after the laning stage, it felt.
Yeah, like you said, it just kind of snowballed out of control. They had that early game window, but unfortunately they weren't able to capitalize. That was kind of the big issue for Patriots early on, and it has to be mentioned, we've got to say it, that it's we've all so far this series have been 2-0. So KOBOLDS, congratulations on knocking Patriots out. Nah, we're not done just yet, of course. We saw Patriots, it was a really solid early game from them, but it's just a question of can they continue that and build off that and try and recover from some of the mistakes and learn from it in the second game, which will be up shortly around the corner. We'll see if the momentum can continue for the lads over from Mongolia or if Patriots have what it takes.